Hey guys, it's Jonah here, and I'm back with another beer review. But I haven't been around because the weekend was a bit hectic. I went to a beer festival and then I went to the Royston and had a few beers the next day. So, yeah, it was a weekend of beers and no mistake. Firstly, this beer festival here, I don't know if you can read that, but it's the Ashford, Folkestone, and Romney Marsh arranged a beer festival at the Tenterton Railway. And it's all part of the 50th anniversary. It's the 14th Tenterton Beer Festival. That's what it was called, the Tenterton Beer Festival. And it's at a railway, and you could get on a train. It was quite expensive. I think it was about 30 quid. You could get up on the train and ride up and down all day long. Absolutely nuts. And I got another beer glass. Need to stop that, but this one's a good one because it's got the 50 on it, because it's the 50th anniversary of CAMRA. Basically started in 1974 officially. So if people were legally drinking at one of the first beer festivals in 74, that means they would be sort of late 60s, early 70s. Yeah, absolutely crazy. And I took along, this is not a red card because apparently there's some football on and stuff, but it's my scoring sheet thingy I take with me. And I put a post on Facebook saying I had 14 beers, or tried 14 beers. Got it a bit wrong because I found another 4. So it was 18 beers in the end. And that's not pints. I wasn't drinking pints. Drinking halves. They weren't doing the thirds, which was a bit weird. So, yeah, that's kind of 9-ish pints, I guess. Oh, pardon me, I haven't even started the beer I'm going to review. But yeah, I tried some other people's beers as well, so it wasn't as bad as it could be. But yeah, I was definitely up in the high, yeah, at least sort of 7-8 pints worth of beer across the day. Just nuts. Anywho, I thought to celebrate, I would do a big can, and some people are getting big cans from Beer 52, but I haven't had a big can from them for absolutely ages. So I think they're prejudiced against me. But I thought I would pour something into my new glass, and I decided it would be funny. BrewDog, Lucky Break, and this is a NEIPA. You can see on this little cat's collar, Northeast IPA. In case you forgot, it was BrewDog, and it's a 6.7% NEIPA, which is absolutely ludicrous. But the reason I thought I'd put this one in, well, number one, it's been in the fridge for like ages, like weeks. This has been in the fridge. I got this on the cheap supermarket deal thing. Well, I say cheap, it wasn't actually that cheap, but it was like a 4 for 3 deal or something. So probably £2, £2.50 max. Any more than that, I probably wouldn't have done it. But these boys supposedly are the new wave of craft beer, or used to be in the UK, and I'm putting it in 50 years of CAMRA. So new school, old school. And a lot of people are not getting on with BrewDog these days because they're putting out a lot of the same stuff, to be honest, and they're actually shutting some of their bars. And the one in Canterbury, which we were promised we were going to get as part of a new development, right next to a student village. So you would have thought, you know, the students would have kept it afloat. But BrewDog decided in their infinite wisdom that they weren't going to open it after all. So, you know, I don't mind. I'm not really a BrewDog chaser or ticker or anything. They make some good beers, but they also make awful beers, and sometimes, yeah, they do, yeah, nasty things to their staff. So overall, I don't really like BrewDog, but I'll drink their beers, and I'm going to drink one now. So let's let's keep the irony going, and I'll pour this beer into this glass for your entertainment. Because I probably won't use this glass that much, because I think this is a cool one. Look at that headspace, man, in there. That's absolutely nuts. There we go. 50 years of camera, and the first beer outside a beer festival was a craft beer from BrewDog. Oh, absolutely nuts. And look at that, you can tell. Oh, actually, I opened it up on Untappd on my other screen, so I can tell you what's in here. I was going to say, you can tell it's got wheat and oats in there, can't you? So the hops in here: Citra, obviously most common hop ever; Mosaic, another really common hop; and Talus, which is interesting. Okay, so yeah, we're going to get some grassiness. We're going to get some tropicalness. Talus always gives me melon, and you know I love a bit of melon. Maybe even a couple of melons. Who knows? And it's that weird trade-off that's kind of Citra Mosaic is like a classic for for the new style of beer like this. And then adding in Talus gives it that kind of extra high notes, that kind of what I used to call white kind of notes. Citra's green because it's grassy and all that kind of stuff. Mosaic, I always think sort of like mango-y type colour, so sort of yellowy, like that colour, yellowy kind of stuff. And then you get the melon and the kind of grape and that kind of thing, and they're the kind of white fruits. Because sometimes when I'm drinking, I'm seeing in colours. Very weird. Anyway, hopefully I'll entertain you with this review. Why not consider subscribing to the channel? I always say it, but people don't do it. So I'm going to keep saying it until you do it. You there. Yeah, you watching this. Subscribe to the channel, or at least click like or something like that. Cheers and beers. Let's see what we get from this bad boy. Okay. Ooh, very juicy, kind of going down. Then really soon after that, almost as soon as I swallowed there, yeah, went a bit kind of pith, and it was juicy, but then it was sort of pithy and sort of bitter kind of thing, like fruity bitter. And then there was some nice creaminess there. So yeah, I'm almost 100% sure. It doesn't actually say on Untappd what the malts are, which is a shame, but I'm almost 100% sure this has got some wheat and some oats in there, which gives that nice kind of creaminess to it. Gives a little bit of that mouthfeel, but what it also does, it kind of molds everything together. And unfortunately, the NEIPA style, a lot of the beers that I've been trying, like over the last sort of how long's NEIPA's been around? 5 to 10 years, something like that. A lot of the modern versions now have kind of dialed it in, and they all taste very similar. They're all using Citra, Mosaic, things like that. And this one is is basically the same as the others. 6.7 ABV. When I've chilled it in the fridge, I'm not getting any kind of alcohol burn at all. Really smooth. I hate to say it, but really nice. The only thing is, it's it's very similar, like I say, to all the other beers that we have. They've chucked a bit of Talus in there purely to try and break it up a bit, but yeah, I'm not really getting that kind of normal thing. I think it's merging a bit with the Mosaic and giving more of a kind of tropical note. Oh, pardon me. That's weird. Considering there was hardly any head on this beer at all. Yeah, very carbonated. I bet you, because I've had it in the fridge for so long, all the carbon dioxide bubbles have gone into the beer itself. Oh, I'll tell you what I've forgotten to do. I need to do a photo. Right, lucky break. Wow, and I'm getting shininess off the because the sun is still up. So I have to tilt these subtly forward. And then you'll realise, looking at the beginning, the thumbnail, if you like, of this video, why is the top of that can look a bit larger than the bottom? It's because I don't like getting that reflection. But hey, probably happened in my head as well. Ah, these things we have to live in first world countries, eh? I am getting some juiciness. I am getting kind of a mild grapefruit, definitely some pineapple. I am getting some higher notes there, some sort of lotus blossomy type stuff. What are those fruits that kind of are along those lines? Those, what are they called? They're the really little ones, like, and they're white inside. Oh, damn it. I can't remember what they're called. Like dragon fruit, but the white ones. Um, It is that taste, but what the hell they're called? I can't remember. Who knows? But yeah, definitely a tropical fruit from sort of more from sort of Asia and Japan, as opposed to something really kind of subtropical, if you like. Um, maybe a little bit of kiwi fruit in there as well. Yeah, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this beer at all. Quite enjoying it, in fact. The only problem, like I said earlier on, is there are so many of these beers that are almost exact clones of each other. This one perhaps is slightly different because it's got talus, and not many people use talus really. Yeah. Oh, okay. As I'm getting to the bottom of this glass, yeah, it's giving me, oh, giving me a lot more kind of substance. Um, like I've said before in previous videos, why not check the back catalogue if you want to? As you get, especially with a thicker beer like this, a cloudy beer, that's definitely cloudy. As you get to the bottom of the glass, especially if you've chilled it, things tend to separate out a little bit, and you get the thicker kind of grainier stuff at the bottom of your glass because it's settled out. And I'm not suggesting shaking your beer at all. Don't do that, in fact. But perhaps as you pour, maybe a swirling action. I don't know, or just accept that that's what's going to happen. Lovely. I'm liking this. This is really cool. Which I don't often say about, yeah, the BrewDog beers. I'll tell you what, there must be, it doesn't actually say on the can at all, but there must be a reason why it's got this little cat dude on this thing. I think it's those fruits, and I wish I could remember the name because it's so annoying, and I've eaten them loads of times. But when you go to like an Oriental kind of restaurant, they use these kind of fruits that are really small, kind of spiny on the outside. But when you open them up, they're definitely white inside, and that's kind of where that lotusy kind of flavour's coming from. Ah, I know in my head what I mean, and I'm happy in myself to say that, but I wish I could remember the name. Ugh, happens when you get old, doesn't it? It's not like kumquat, is it? No. I don't know. I closely assemble it with, associate it even with, yeah, with lotus and that kind of stuff, but don't know why. And there we go, celebrating 50 years of camera with the notorious BrewDog of Doom. Lucky Break, actually quite a good beer. And if you can get it at your well, if you're in the UK anyway, if you can get it in your local supermarket as part of a deal, especially when those cans tend to be like £3-4, and if you can get them as part of a deal for under £3, bundling everything together, yeah, it's not so bad really. Especially considering they're the large cans, which is always good. I was consider getting some of those cherry sour beers because I wanted to try some Belgian beers, and that one was there. Is it Lychee cherry? It's just, oh, it's proper gnarly stuff. I think it's 8%, but they only come in these really tiny little bottles, which is bit of a shame, really. But yeah, no one's going to sell you an 8% beer in a, well, unless you're completely nuts like me. They're probably not going to make that much money off it. Cheers and beers. Welcome to another week. 'Tis Monday here, after all. This has been Unclejona, drinking beers for your entertainment and talking old toot to take your mind off the football. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself as well. Drink some beer, and Unclejona will return with another beer review real soon.